Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I'm Vicky and today we are going to be crocheting the square that goes with Shot in the Dark by Anna Britton. So this is going to be quite a weird one because I don't normally read a lot of thrillers. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you like what you see, if you're still here at the end, great. Then please like, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things. If this is your first time seeing my video, then welcome. If you've been here before, it's lovely to see you again. So, back to Shot in the Dark. It's a thriller. I'm well aware of this, and I know that I generally don't read a lot of thrillers. I tend to read on the romancy side rather than the thriller side. But Anna is... I used to work with Anna, and she's one of my friends, and when I heard that she was writing a book, because she was going to come to... First I heard of the book, basically, was when she said she was coming... to the library to do it. She wanted to do an author talk and needed someone to interview her, and I was like, oh my god, I so want to do this. I love interviewing authors. It's one of my favourite parts of my job, but I don't get to do it nearly enough. But and I was like, right, I need to read this book, and then I realised that it was thriller. But really, it's thriller, but it's not too much. It's not like the James Patterson's blood and guts every other page, and obviously there's going to be a death, but it's more about the detective work, which is what I quite like about it. So as you go through the books, there are some pages that are text messages and emails, and you really see how the characters, how they literally... It's Juliet Stern and Gabe Martin, and they are two police officers, and they're working in Southampton, and they are looking for the death of Melanie Pert. So Melanie is a young person who was shot at the beginning, and it's quite interesting because in the first chapter, this isn't a spoiler, so I'm okay, but in the first chapter you get the feel of the death, so you get to see what happened beforehand. Obviously you don't know who did it, but you get to sort of see this you get her running, and and then her getting shot and dying. And then it's a case of how that affects the characters around it. So in this story, we meet the Dunlows, and the Dunlows, they own the land that Melanie was shot on. So, of course, all of a sudden, they are clear suspects in the case, and there's a dad, and there is 2 sons, I think, maybe 3. And then there's also Melanie's boyfriend, apparently she had several by the looks of it, on the horizon. So, yeah, and then we just sort of see how that progresses. I absolutely love it, even though I'm not a thriller fan. And I'm not just saying that because Anna's my friend. I actually really, really enjoyed it. And the fact that it's got quite short chapters as well. So even if you're not reading the... emails and the text messages and things like that, the chapters are still relatively short, which is really nice, because then you can it's almost like, oh, I can read one more before I go to bed and it'll be fine, because it's not going to be a really long chapter. Because sometimes you can't do that. You kind of have to take it where you can get it and be like, right, I'm going to have to stop now because I don't know how long the next chapter's going to be. So all in all, it's very lovely as it has short chapters. It is one of a set, so you'll find that, spoiler alert, the next video is the second novel in this series, called Close to the Edge. I was doing these review videos in pairs, but they were just getting too long, and I think each book and author warrants having their own video. If you've written a book, I feel you should at least have your own video without having to share it with someone else, especially when I read quite a diverse range of genres. It's very hard to put them together, because I try and put them together in months rather than in categories or genres or all that malarkey. So you'll find now you're going to get one video per book, and I'm hoping to put one out on a Monday and one out on a Thursday. That's the plan, but we'll see how that one goes. It obviously depends on how much I manage to get rid. March should be a good month because I'm off work for 2 weeks for leave, so I should get loads rid, she says. Anyway, back to Anna Britton. So, back to Shot in the Dark. So you spend the whole book, wandering around, but you're sort of you're seeing what the characters are doing, what the characters are. And it's interesting how I'm not going to. No, there's no spoilers to this at all. But it's interesting how you carry on following. There's a little bit Columbo, where you're following the characters round, but you don't know who did it until the absolute end. I was in shock when I got to the end, because this was actually a reread. So I've read it before when I interviewed Anna at an author event, and then I reread it because she came back again to do another author event, and for the second book. So this is a reread, but I actually listened to this one on Everand, and oh my god, if we want to talk about narrators on audiobooks, I thought they'd done like the American thing where there was a group of people, like they have a cast of people reading the book, because there were so many different accents, and each character had a different accent, and and that really made it, I would say, it was an enjoyable book anyway, but it made it a really enjoyable listen as well, because of all the different accents. And then when I talked to Anna, literally, she said, it's the same person doing all of those accents. And I'm like, that is talent. The fact that, I think I'd struggle to remember every time I changed person to change the accent, even if I was very good at accents, which I'm not. There's a reason why I listen to audio, not read it. But Shot in the Dark, it was amazing. You really get to the detectives. You don't get to know a lot about them. I think that's going to come out in future books. But you find out enough that you're willing them to succeed. And whether if there's stuff going on in their personal lives, you want them to succeed. You want them to do well. You care for them, which is really nice. Because it's very hard with thriller characters, I think, in my opinion, to have lovable characters, or characters that you actually care about. Because regardless of whoever murdered, because I'm not giving the game away, whoever murdered Melanie, because you actually, even some of the Dunlows, you get to know them. They've all got their own trials and tribulations. And it's really nice to be able to get to know the characters and learn to love them. So, yeah, great job, Anna.